This video is about your kids that are in school and you have an IEP and you're going to an ARD meeting. Um, I don't remember what IEP stands for and I don't remember what ARD stands for. Uh, I'll try to leave it in the description. But when I was going through this, I had two kids on the spectrum, and so but man, if it wasn't one ARD meeting, it was another ARD meeting. If it wasn't one IEP, it was another IEP. So it was a lot to juggle. And so what I did so that my kids were not just another number to these people, um, I was I was that bitch. So here we go. First of all, I got a binder. So get yourself a binder. You're gonna need it. If you don't need it going forward in the end, then yeah, good. But I would suggest that you get your ducks in a row. Okay. I You should have some type of diagnosis. When they give you a diagnosis, you need to ask for it in writing if they don't do it already. You want the paperwork that says specifically, that has the hospital, the doctor's name, the clinic, the doctor's name, the date, and what specifically is the diagnosis in writing. You want it in writing, and you want that, and you keep it. It's gold, and always hang on to your original copy, because down the road you may or may not, but you may be asked. I'm asked even now, 20 years later, where's that diagnosis? So you have to hang on to it. Hang on to it till you think you're not going to need it anymore. And I put it in this binder. So in this binder, I would go, and these are pictures of my baby girl at the time, because I wanted them to know that she's not just a number. She's a human, and she has a face, and she was a sweet, precious little girl. And so I used to take an 8x10 along with my binder. I would take an 8x10 picture of her in the sweetest that she could possibly be, and I would put it right on top of the table when we would get into the ARD meeting. And most ARD meetings are one-on-one. You're only meeting with one person. I had an entire team because again, I was that bitch. So I was meeting with the principal, the teacher, the speech pathologist, the occupational therapist, and then there would be somebody that was transcribing. So there were like 5 or 6 people, and it was difficult because it was all of them against me. In the beginning, it was just me, and after a while, it began to be really heavy. And I got an advocate. You can get an advocate. Look into getting an advocate. You don't have to pay for one. You can pay for one, but you don't have to pay for one. There's programs. I'm in Texas, so there's programs that will provide you with an advocate. They volunteer. They've been through the trenches. Why do you want an advocate? Because the advocates know all of the rules. So you'll notice that when you start doing this, they give you this, it's like, 30, 40 pages, and it's your rights as a parent. We don't read through that shit, do we? We don't read through it. We don't have time. We don't have time. And that's where your advocate comes in. You take an advocate with you, and they cannot deny your advocate coming in. They used to try to give me flack about it, well, she's not, whatever. We can't disclose information. Nah, whatever. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So take an advocate with you if you feel that you need one. I know I needed one because they were pushing back on everything. The IEP. You have the right to request. They can't pop the IEP in front of you and then the next day you're meeting. You have to have time to go over the IEP. And they know this. They know this. But if you don't know it, then they're going to run all over you, honey. They're going to run all over you. So it is so important to know your rights as a parent. And so because I knew that, I would tell them, they would schedule the IEP, and then they try to give me a day's notice, and, here it is. Nope, you're going to have to reschedule the IEP because I need time to review it. And it's intense. You've seen the IEP. It's, I don't know, 20 pages or so, a little bitty fine, tiny writing, and you have to sift through all of that. It's a pain in the butt. But learn all of those percentages and all of the things that you're doing. Read it. Go through it with a highlighter. You cannot imagine how many mistakes, how many things were missing, how many things that I didn't agree with. And so if you allow them to just shove you in a chair, here, sign here, turn the page, here, sign here, turn the page, sign here, sign here, you're going to sign your life away and your child's life away. And then you're wondering why you're not getting the services or you're not getting the things that your kid needs. And you don't understand why, because you didn't read the fine print. Okay, this is how they get you. It's a system, and it's not designed to it's not designed to hold this many children or provide. It's broken. It's a broken system. And so you need to be able to maneuver. The choice is up to you. You can, look over this video and not do it. But if you're anything like me, again, if you're here, I would imagine that it's because you want an alternative route. And so that means for me, the alternative route was being that pain in the butt parent. Do your job. Do your job and serve my child. Give her or him their rights. They deserve an aid. They deserve, whatever. I fought for my kids. I fought every tooth and nail, and they hated me. Coming down, here she comes with her kid. They hated it. I could feel it. I could feel the energy, and I didn't care. It was hard. It was hard at the time, and it took a lot of energy out of me, but I was not going to back down. Not for my babies. Not going to do it. And so when I would go in, I would look over the IEP. I would have already done it, and I marked out all their shit wrong, and I had Post-it notes and little sticky tabs. And then here's the other thing. I had a lot of people in my room, and they would strategically, because I remember going into IEPs and then getting out and thinking, what the hell just happened? I forgot to ask this. I forgot. And then as I went over it in my head, what I realized is they distract you. Okay? Understand that the principals, speech path, the OT, teacher, they meet before you get there. Okay? It might look like everybody's coming together for this one meeting. No. Make no mistake. They've already met. They already gone through the IEP. They've already discussed what are the probable things that this mom's going to push back on, and how are we going to handle it? What is the situation? So they are like warriors, locked arm in arm, ready to come against you. And I always got along really, really well with my kids' teachers, but it's a job. Okay? And at the end of the day, I understood that teacher was not going to speak up in my defense. She's not going to put her job on the line for a parent. And no judgment against her. I mean, she's just trying to, cover herself. I get it. So it's going to take you. It doesn't mean that you can't get what you want. And I'll give you an example. There was a time where something was happening and I was trying to fight for a device to be used, like I don't know what the hell it's called. We didn't have iPads back then, and it was a device, like a voice box device, where you would push the button. Now you just do it on your iPad, but you would push the button and it could speak, and it could help my daughter speak, who was nonverbal. And I had gotten this device and they wouldn't use it. They fought me. And I even provided it. I paid for it, everything. They still wouldn't. And I had to shape my questions, because the teacher's not going to say anything in my defense, but if I ask her a question, she has to answer. So when I would go into the meeting, I would know the points that I wanted to make, and I would have my questions and the points, just like an attorney, litigation. It was just like that. And I don't have attorney background. So this was, just a parent with a fucking mission. And I would write it down like on a big Post-it, so that when they start talking, because what happens is they try to, oh, did you see the game last night? Oh, how about you, Mrs. No. Shh, let's come back to the point. I don't want to chitty chat with you. We're not friends. Okay. I have so much time. I don't want to, squander my time. Let's talk about the topics. And I would stay on, and they were like, oh, this bitch. So I got everything that I wanted. I was always the only parent that got summer school, and they would tell me, please don't tell anybody else. I don't care about anybody else. I'm not saying anything to anybody else, but you're going to give my kid, and I had to prove it. I had to prove why it was beneficial for, and again, just like an attorney, I would say, because of this, because of that, because of this, she's going to regress, she's going to do, and we start all over again. By the time you did it, it's a disruption. It's because I was able to prove my points, very valid points, not just please, 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 very valid points, and they couldn't argue them. Then they were forced. They were forced to comply and give me what I wanted. But it was because I knew my rights. I have every right to summer school, and so does every other parent, but they don't know that. They don't know that. What they try to tell you is, oh, Billy doesn't need, little Susie, she doesn't need, and if your kid needs it, your kid needs it, and mine did. Not both of them, just one of them. And so I was very adamant about that, about bus service and all the things, to keep her on her routine, to keep her. Otherwise, we weren't getting anywhere, okay? So you have to know your rights, and having an advocate with you to attend the ARD is very helpful. And don't be ashamed. Don't be, at first I was like, oh, fuck, because you can feel it. You can feel the tension in the air. And at first I was just, but after a while I was like, no, this is the way it's going to be. And if you don't like it, too damn bad. Too damn bad. Did other parents do that? No. Why? Because they don't know. They don't know what they don't know. And I kept track of everything, and in this nice big old giant fat binder, and I was tracking things. Okay, last time we did this, and now where are we going to do this? They only wanted to give her like 15 minutes of speech therapy. In fact, 15 minutes? Shit, it takes you 15 minutes to settle down. What are you talking about? Why would you disrupt her, change rooms, go to another and sit down, and you're only 15, you're really only working with her for maybe 5 minutes, because then you got to get up again, you got to go, and then she's got to do the other kids. Well, because she has an overload and she has a lot of children. Guess what? Not my damn problem. Not my damn problem. That sounds like a district problem. That sounds like a school problem. That sounds like y'all need to figure it out. But as far as I'm concerned, my daughter is going to get every little bit that I can squeeze out of you. Yeah, that's right. It's called public school. And all I had to do was prove it. Yeah, well, she's not talking. So you need to get her to talk. And you're not going to do it in 15 damn minutes. So I was able to get it 30 minutes, and then I was able to get it more often. Not just once a week, but twice a week. And so you have to push. And they are not going, they're not going to just open the gate and say, come and look at all these things. It's not going to happen. It didn't happen then, and it's not going to happen now, especially now because there's even more children. It's even more common for these kids to be on the spectrum. So you have to fight. You have to fight. That was largely another reason why I pulled my kids out of public school, because I got tired. I got tired of fighting and pushing back, and I was like, you know what? You say until you're blue in the face that you have my kids' best interest, and you don't. No, you don't. You don't. And when I realized that, I was done, then I pulled them out. And for the first 2 years that I pulled them out and homeschooled them, I had doubts. Of course I did. I kept thinking, oh my God, I'm screwing my kids up. Am I making a mistake? Oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm not a teacher. I'm not certified. No, I don't know how to do this. The most school I had was when I was a little girl, and I used to play school, and I don't like to play school because I like to write on the chalkboard. So this is different. This is different. Am I screwing my kids up? And here's what I want to tell you. You have your children for a reason, okay? You're not going to screw your kids up. In fact, you are exactly what your babies need. You're exactly what they need. And that's why you were gifted with them. That's why you are their mama or you are their daddy. Okay, because they need you. They need you. imperfect little you. Yeah, that's got, you know, squirrel, you got ADD, okay, it's okay. Perfectly perfect, you are their parent. Perfectly imperfect, it's what they need. Because now I think back, and what was I? I was a warrior. Wasn't going to back down. Wasn't going to take anybody's poop. And was I scared? Yes, I was scared. You know, on the outside, you wouldn't know it, but on the inside, I was like, ah. You know, so now it's a little less than that. Now it's that is gone. It's totally gone. But it took all of those years of fighting and pushing and coming and stepping in and embodying who I am as a human, as a mother, as a wife, as a woman. I'm strong, and so are you. So are you. You are exactly what your kids need. Okay? So take what it is that you know. Do I know everything? No, I don't know everything. And you won't know everything either, but you can learn. You can learn. And as long as you're open-minded to that, it's okay. Okay, do it differently. I didn't do it the way they did it. And so I think a really big part of all of this is unlearning what they teach us. And they teach this structure, they teach this construct of this is how you do it, and you go to school and you did it, and you sit down and you stand up and you raise your hand to speak, and you. Well, when I homeschooled, my kids were on bouncy balls and they could get up as they wanted to. We took lots of breaks. Sometimes we worked for an hour, sometimes we didn't. Sometimes we laid around. You know, you can learn outside playing. You don't have to be in a damn classroom. You just don't. Remember, that's the way they do it. And how's that working out? It's not working out very well, is it? So embrace different. Embrace unorthodox, you know, just weird, quacky, you know, it's okay. There's more than one way to skin a cat. My kids did not lack from anything. I don't feel like I deprived them because I pulled them out of school. If anything, they got so much more love and understanding, and it created a stronger bond between us because we spent a lot of time together. We spent a lot of time together. But I have so many memories and pictures and things that we did while everybody was in school. You know, we were at the museums and we were at the zoo and we were doing all these things and we were going on these field trips and we were going to the parks and there was nobody there. We had everything to ourselves, and we'd go to the beach and you know, that's like sensory input, playing in the sand and the waves and all that fun that the kids that are in school, they don't get any of that. They get a damn field trip in the spring or maybe in the fall. Whoa. You know, I was taking my kids to the theater. We were going to see ballets. We were going to see symphonies. I love the theater, and so I wanted to share that with my kids, and now they love it too. And yes, my nonverbal child, my baby girl, will sit through a ballet, an entire ballet. We've seen Nutcracker several times. We've seen Cinderella. So your kids can do this, and you can do it with them. Okay, so I just want to encourage you, keep track of your stuff and fight for your children and know your rights. Know your rights and push for all the things that they're entitled to. Okay, and you're not crazy, and you're not alone.